Hi, my name is Grace Davis, and today I will be going through my presentation on my development through English 122 and my experience this past semester. So I titled my presentation Empty Words. To start off, my driving questions were: what is rhetoric and how does it give your writing purpose? As for my writing journey, I've always been focused on sounding quote unquote good and trying to impress my teachers. This led me to lose my voice and only write to impress and not truly address the meaning or point of what I was writing about. So for me, this meant that if I was trying to earn a good grade, I would try to sound very academic and use what I call empty words or phrases in order to distract from the fact that I usually didn't truly know what I was writing about or did not have a point to my writing. When I entered English 122, I struggled because my professor was able to see that I was not writing with meaning and that I never got to the deeper meaning of my topics. For my threshold concept, I chose rhetoric. The book definition in Writing About Writing states that rhetoric is the study of human interaction and communication, or the products of that interaction and communication. As for my unique definition, I said it was the study of communication and how the purpose of that communication influences the means in which we communicate. So, in other words, rhetoric is how the scenario surrounding our writing, whether that be whom we are writing to or what the purpose of that writing is, how that influences how we communicate. For my before passage, as you can see, I've highlighted a couple of phrases and words like I am aware and with this in mind and structured and well spoken piece of writing. Those are all, like I mentioned, examples of empty words and phrases. That means they really didn't have any true meaning and they were just distracting from the fact that I did not truly know what I was talking about or have a deeper point or deeper meaning of what I was trying to say. So in my after piece or after passage, I cut all of those phrases and words out and I got straight to the point. So I highlighted the first sentence because, first of all, it shows that I cut out my previous sentence that said, I am aware, and I just got straight to what I was trying to say. So I said, in my personal process for writing, I often find myself straying from the topic and losing focus of what really matters. Now, that is very true for my writing, but that sentence overall not only starts off the passage just truly saying what I mean, which gives the reader A, an idea of what I'm talking about, and B, just lets them know here's what my point is. But it also doesn't, you can see that I know what, not that I know what I'm talking about, but that I have a point. Um, as opposed to me starting off with all of these filler words or empty phrases. Then later on, I highlighted the phrase, it is what works for me. Now, the reason I highlighted this phrase is because in my writing, I often tend to um, try and disguise what I'm truly trying to say because I'm worried that the teacher won't agree with it or that it sounds stupid. But here I just said what I meant because throughout this semester, I've realized teachers and professors want you to say just how you feel. They want you to be honest. For example, with paper A and paper B, that showed us that a professor would much more prefer a student to be honest as opposed to try and sound smart or distract from the fact that they don't have a point or they think that the point that they have will earn them a worse grade. So, what does this all mean? For me, it's easy to get caught up in trying to sound good for your teacher. This is where the idea of rhetoric applies to a student teacher relationship. For example, um, my relationship as a student, I always thought that the teacher just wanted you to sound academic, and that if you did sound academic, they would just believe that you were smart and you knew what you were talking about, and they would give you a good grade. Um, this led me, like I said, to lose my voice, but it also meant that for me, that communication was dishonest and it led me to lose my voice. For me specifically, I focus my rhetoric or communication style on sounding academic because I believe this would get me my desired result, which was a good grade. Uh, I changed my voice in order to communicate a message, which I started that freshman year of high school. So I just lost my voice more and more every year, to be completely honest. I now understand, though, that true communication communicates a message and has meaning. If you sound academic but your words have no meaning, then communication has failed. Um, the idea of communicating a message, I mean, clearly, to communicate, you need to have something that you can communicate. You need to have a message, you need to have a point. If you are just distracting around the fact that you don't have a point or using a bunch of empty words or phrases, then you failed at communication. What have you communicated? You have communicated nothing. You've distracted from the fact that you don't really know what you're talking about, if you even if you are confused about the topic or you don't know what you're talking about. If you're distracting from that, then I think a professor would much more like you to just be honest and say, I really don't know what the point of this was or what my message was, but here's my absolute best effort at communication. As for my questions and topics for English 123, I think I really need to focus on content and having meaning. Like I previously mentioned, writing is a form of communication, and if your writing doesn't have the content or the meaning to back it up, then there's no point. I also need to realize that there's no need to persuade everyone to believe you sound smart, and you just need to focus on actually having content. Like I said, I always in high school felt the need to persuade my teachers into believing I was smart, when in reality, if I just had the content to back that up, I wouldn't have had to spend so much time on adding filler words and empty phrases. I also need to focus on getting straight to the point and not dodging the message of my writing. This presented itself for me in uh, like I would use so many filler words and whatnot that even if I did have a point or a message, by the time I got there, it was just confusing and you had forgotten what I was writing about, even in the first place. Finding my voice and looking at rhetoric as how we communicate and not how we persuade will be vital for me next semester. It's very easy to lose your voice and become someone who you are not when you're writing to earn a grade, but maintaining your message and simply saying what you mean is what writing is all about. So, like I mentioned, writing is communication. And if you are not writing effectively, then you are not communicating effectively. You are not conveying a message and you are not conveying a point. So, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation, and I hope everyone has a great break.